It was the end of the event and everyone was mingling and connecting and talking with other people. And then I met him. Yes, the guy. You know who I'm talking about. That guy, the one that everyone at a networking event don't want to operate with. It's that guy with the blazer and the white shirt on. You know, the top few buttons are unbuttoned, so he's showing his hairy chest like he's coming from the 70s or something. And a little bit loud, almost teetering on the obnoxious, annoying side. But then when he comes around and talks to you, he's only focused on one thing, his next big opportunity. He ain't got no time to learn about your business. He just want to know the quick, simple thing. Are you a small business owner? And if so, I want to do business with you. I want to get your money. And when he found out that I was a small business owner, yes, his pitch kicked in. Most people will ease up, but dude went from 0 to 90 like a Tesla in like 4 or 5 seconds. He did not ease up. Everyone he interacted with didn't want to do any business with him or continue the conversation, considering it was one-sided. Where did he go wrong? How could he have fixed it? How could you make sure you're not like him when you're doing outreach at events? Check it out. This episode is brought to you in part by TSE Certified Sales Training Program. It's a program designed to help sales rep and sales team to improve their skills. Teaches you how to find the right customers, what activities, what strategies work, how you go about asking the right questions to build strong value, and what you need to do to close more deals. If you want to test it out for yourself, go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course to get the first 2 modules absolutely free. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/free course. This episode is also brought to you in part by Audible. Knowing that you're a savvy salesperson, you're here, you want to learn, you want to grow. Check out Audible. They have thousands of titles that you can choose from. Take advantage of the 30-day free trial as well as a free book. Simply go to audibletrial.com/TSE. Again, audibletrial.com/TSE. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we're going to talk about outreach, which ties directly to our theme for the whole month. All of us, no matter what type of sales we're in, we have to get clients in a hopper. If you can agree with that, say that's me. Come on, say it. Now, the way we go about getting new leads or getting people into the hopper may be different, varying based on our industry. Some of the industries I've been in, some of the top ways to get new clients were literally going door to door, and that's when I did security systems. Other industries, such as the software industry, was picking up the phone and calling into city, county governments because that's who our ideal customers were. Others, like today, I use social media, other means, as well as cold outreach. But going to networking events also is a key part of our business because I work a lot with small, mid-sized organizations. Typically, when I'm at these networking events, interacting with the right people, I come across opportunities. Some of those opportunities come in the form of actual clients that I meet or potential clients, or it comes in the form of me connecting with someone who's able to connect me with somebody else, and then there spawns an opportunity. If done right, and again, if it's according to your outreach plan, this could be very rewarding. Now, I want to warn you beforehand, just like in a teaser, if you're going to use networking, you're going to come across that guy or that gal, or unfortunately, perhaps maybe you're that guy and don't realize it. We're going to fix that today, though. This dude that I met, he probably doesn't realize that he is on the borderline of being obnoxious, probably not realizing that he is too annoying. Every so often, he may get an opportunity or someone who just doesn't realize and he's able to mold over them, and that person eventually maybe buys from him, so he thinks that he's successful. Perhaps he doesn't realize that he could perform a lot better, probably could gain way more leads and opportunities if he just changes his approach. Now, if I'm going to take advantage of an event and make sure that I really maximize my time, the very first thing that I'm going to tell you to do and that I do is to try to find out who is going to be at the event. Is this going to tie with my demographic, the ideal customers that I have? And if you can check that mark off, fantastic. Now, we want to figure out who is attending. If it's an event that's like on Meetup, maybe you can figure out and see who are some of the other folks who said, yes, we're going to be there. Now, I understand that sometimes you're not going to know and it's almost darn near impossible to figure it out. But if you can, that's great. If you know the organizers or are familiar with them, attend multiple of their events, maybe you can ask them about some of the top companies that are going to be there, and perhaps maybe they can give you a name and you can do some research before you get to the actual event. Maybe don't give you contact information like phone numbers and email addresses, but you can find a lot of that stuff online now or utilize tools. LinkedIn is absolutely amazing, and especially if you have Sales Navigator. Come on, it's like a given. You can find a lot of data there. Now that I know who's going to be at the event, what business they're in, their potential good fit for me, the next step is to make a plan of who you want to connect with while at the event. Perhaps it's some of the panelists or some of the speakers. You want to make sure you have your short list. You don't need to bring 10,000 business cards and give them all out. We've done episodes on that in the past. Nobody likes that spray and pray mentality. It just doesn't look good on you. But maybe you have 10 business cards. You know you're going to give out 5 to these individuals that you're going to meet or you want to get connected with. And perhaps, again, a couple of the people that could be potential partners or who could introduce you to other people. They may not be someone who could directly purchase from you, but maybe they know other people. They could be complementary. They could even be your competition. I've been able to work and have good relationship with people I competed with, and we were able to help each other out. Maybe we go for different types of customers, or even if we go for the same type of customers, perhaps he or she is not going to be in that same business forever, and it doesn't make sense for me to burn bridges. It's good for me to know. Now, it's important to understand they're not the first people on my checklist to become partners with or friends with. I want to find potential customers. That's why I'm here. It's also good to recognize people who you could potentially help. That's a great way. So now you have those 10 business cards accounted for. Potential customers, people you could potentially partner with, and also people you could potentially help. Now, this dude at the event, he just came in blasting through. There's another guy and I having a conversation, and he just barged in and tried to take the whole thing over. So tell me, what do you guys do? What do you guys do? When he did that, it wasn't like welcoming. It wasn't like, hi, my name is Joe, or my name is John. Hey, how you doing? It was just an entrance, and it wasn't something that made a good impression, first off. I just knew where this was going right from the start. The other guy works in the education space, and he wasn't a good fit for him. So he actually said it to the guy after the guy explained what he did. He was like, oh yeah, you guys have good health insurance. You're not a good fit for me. And then he zeroed in on me because he knew I was a small business owner and started pushing hard on his pitch about his company and how they can help us with insurance and all of this stuff. Now, clearly, I ain't going to invite this guy to come and sit down and talk to me. I don't want to waste my time with him. I was respectful and I listened to him. Then I moved on afterwards. Same thing with the other guy. And I imagine many people did the same exact thing to him that day. But what could he have done differently? And this is where it comes down to step 3. You need to make sure that you're genuinely interested in learning about other people. People don't necessarily care about you, but we all care about ourselves and the problems that we have and how people can help us solve those problems. So maybe he should have just been curious about our businesses and asked us a couple more questions. Just show that you're sincere. We will talk about ourselves. We'll talk about our business. That's what you want to do. Between me and the other guy, he heard about our businesses in about 1 minute. For the next 2 to 3 minutes, however, he spent time talking about him and his business. I personally felt that he didn't know enough to prescribe or even enough to warrant a further meeting with me. Even if you don't know anyone that's going to be at the event, but you're actually there, just ask several questions. Tell me a little bit more about your business. You can ask follow-up questions. How did you get started in that? We did an episode with Bob Berg, and he gave some great insights about that. And by the way, if anyone's local, you need to come to our next local sales meetup where we're having Bob Berg as our guest speaker. We're going to talk about his book, The Go-Giver. Fantastic piece of content again, and I will link back to it in the show notes. But one of the things Bob talked about was just having a few of these questions that you can ask. If you're genuinely interested in listening, you can always follow up. Why? Why did you get involved in this business? After somebody tell you what they did. Or how did you get involved in this business? What's the biggest challenges you guys are seeing in this industry? So forth and so forth. That is genuinely care. Not to just do a checklist, but somebody who's actually listening. Use the same concept you use when you're meeting with some of your prospect in a deeper discussion. Tell me more about that. Why is that? This leads to deeper discussions, not surface level conversation. I guarantee you're going to find some kind of issue or you're going to find some kind of problem. These people are potentially good for your business. Don't blurt out and tell them all what you do. First, again, listen to them. But they're going to ask after you do that, tell me about you. What is your business? What do you do? Then you want to give a clean, simple message. That could be your 10-second or your 20-second or 30-second message. In a few sentences, just let them know what you do. We help small businesses who are interested in growth build out a sales process that's actually going to help them increase revenue. We do this through consulting as well as through sales training. Something simple like that. This will lead to further discussion. They're going to ask what kind of businesses and so forth, and this opens up for you to talk a little bit more. Again, we're human beings and we're having a conversation. Depending on the event, however, sometimes they may give you a little bit more time for you to pitch in front of the group. One of my friends I brought on a podcast, Jason Lynette, his episode was 1081. He gave a masterful message or a story about what he does. Now, again, this is for those situations where you have a little bit more time, or perhaps after the client asks you, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Then you can go into a story like this. Listen to what Jason did.
Good morning, everybody. So today's story ends with murder. Oh, great. Got your attention. So this woman comes into my office and she has a horrible fear of bugs. She's a high-powered lawyer who backed out of the case of a lifetime because she saw a cockroach in the courtroom. She's a brand new mother and she saw something with a lot of legs crawling up the wall, and she and her newborn baby checked into a hotel for 10 days. After our first meeting, she killed a housefly with her bare hand. Who do you know that's ready to let go of a fear? My name is Lynette. I'm a hypnotist and I'm an expert in helping people and so forth. But the whole formula was everyone else was getting up and going, here's my job, here's what I do. Hi, I'm Joe, I'm the accountant, I'm looking for nonprofits. Hi, I'm Susie, the real estate agent. Who do you know that's moving? Instead, draw in the entire room. Get them to put down their dry chicken if it's a lunch meeting, or their pastries if it's breakfast meeting, and suddenly have that full audience, let's call it out, compliance, where they're listening, they're going, who is this guy? So, and we can modify that with any business. Instead, draw them in, get them listening, and then here's who I am.
Amazing, right? He used that story to draw them in, and by the time it was done, they were eating out of the palm of his hands. He wasn't sleazy. He wasn't throwing his business cards. Didn't have his shirt all buttoned down with his hair poking out. He was just being a human being. And since we all love stories, we all were entertained as well as found somebody that we could probably work with. The other part to this, the last part, so we talked about you understanding who is going to be at the event, making a plan of who you're going to talk to, understanding your messaging, and then having some questions you can ask. You have your little message down for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, and then you have a little story like what Jason did that you can utilize to further the discussion or further the conversation, again, based on the situation you're in. Now, recognize that not everyone is going to say, yes, I can benefit from that. But Jason also asked, do you know, who else do you know, or who do you know who needs to overcome a fear? He didn't say, do you have benefits for my service? He wasn't pitching that individual. He was pitching them, so to speak, about others that they may know. And naturally, again, people are going to say, well, I have a problem with that, or I have a situation like that. It just wasn't direct to them. And it makes people feel a little bit better off. They don't have to be on their heels or just like worried that, you're going to be another salesperson. Now you guys are allies. You're friends. And so be it, maybe you can help them or they can help you. If you did that properly, you're probably going to work and connect with about 5-6 people. You're going to use those 10 business cards. You're not going to have a ton to just flaunder and throw around. And then you want to connect with these individuals afterwards on LinkedIn. Make sure you remind them that you connected with them that day or maybe the day after if it's in the morning. But now you have this connection with them and nurture that relationship. And perhaps there's an opportunity for a few of them that says, yeah, that's something that I have a problem with. Can we set up a time to meet? Perfect. Now, that is an effective way to utilize events in your outreach efforts. I know some of you are on treadmills right now, or you're at the grocery store and you didn't get a chance to write these steps down. Don't worry, we have them listed in the show notes. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, try this cool thing. Just click on the play button at the bottom and swipe up on the cover art, and you'll see below all the show notes. And you can go back and just look at the steps, or you can simply just go back to the website, thesalesevangelist.com/the-word episode number 1117. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/the-word episode number 1117. While you're there, check out our Audible link. You can go ahead and check out a book for yourself, or perhaps you want to get Audible for your team. Just simply go to audibletrial.com/TSE. You can get any book for free, as well as a 30-day free trial of Audible. It's the way that I consume 90% of my books, and I love it. It's great. If you haven't done so as well, check out TSE Certified Sales Training Program. Would love for you to join. Maybe something you and your team could take advantage of. Find all the links again back in the show notes. I share this with you because I want to help. I don't want you to be that guy at a networking event. I want you to find more ideal customers. I want you to build stronger value. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Stay tuned for a scene from our next episode.
There are 7 factors, 7 specific things that will make or break whether your business, whether your entrepreneurial pursuit will be successful out of the gate or not. And again, these are factors that are universal, and they are key foundational pieces that you need to be looking for to find what we call a green light market.
Listen, I hope you enjoyed the show today as much as I did. And if so, I ask that you leave us an honest rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The cool thing about this is that when you listen to the show and you brag about us, people are going to come back behind you, read those reviews, and say, you know what, Pam said something good about Donald. This podcast must be good. Jason comment here saying that it helped him in his sales efforts. It must be real good. Let me just go ahead and hit subscribe too. Listen, I truly appreciate you and appreciate your reviews and your subscription. Also, tell your friends about the podcast, anyone you know that's in sales that can benefit. Our show today was produced by myself and the Sales Podcast Network. It was edited and mixed together by the one and only Jershino Bale. Our content writer and show note creator is Mrs. Shannon Rasmussen. You can find audio credits to this and all of our episodes in each of our show notes. And as always, I am your host, your coach, your mentor, your guide down the sales journey, Mr. Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. Sales Podcast Network.